And talking about India's interests, trade is one of them. Russia is offering discounted goods to India, oil, gas, coking coal. Every deal is being sweetened by Moscow. And looking at this volatile market, it's a great offer. The question is, how will these purchases happen? Most Russian banks have been sanctioned. They cannot use the SWIFT payment system. Same story with foreign reserves. Half of Russia's forex has been frozen. That's around $300 billion. How does this impact trade? You see, most international trade happens in dollars. You pay in dollars, you receive in dollars. It's been like that for decades. But Russia's dollar reserves have been frozen. It cannot pay in greenbacks anymore. So what is the solution? One option is to trade in local currency. It's called the Rupee-Rouble system. How does that work? I'll give you a simple explanation. Russia pays in rupees, India pays in rubles. Basically, remove the dollar from the equation. I know it sounds easy, but setting up the system is hard work. Step one is coordinating between banks. Russian banks will have to open accounts in an Indian bank and vice versa. Indian banks will have to open accounts in a Russian bank. So the platform is set. Step two is holding reserves. Both sides will have to hold a certain amount of money in these accounts, say $200 million, for example. But there's a catch. This reserve cannot be held in dollars. It must be held in local currency. So in this example, Russian banks must hold the equivalent of $200 million. That's more than 1,500 crore rupees. So you've got the platform, you've got the money, now you can trade easily. This is how the Rupee-Rouble system would work. Russia will pay Indian exporters in rupees, India will pay Russian exporters in rubles. Has this been tried before? Yes, it has. We can think of two high-profile examples. One, during the Cold War, India and the Soviet Union traded in local currency. The idea was exactly the same, to work around Western restrictions. And two, in 2012, that's more recent. This was with Iran. And this time, India created a Rupee-Rial system. Iran was sanctioned by Western powers, so India began buying Iranian oil in local currency. And things were working well. Then came a certain Donald Trump. He imposed specific sanctions on Iranian oil, and so the Rupee-Rial trade lost momentum. You can see why Russia is pushing for this system. They desperately need to sell their oil, and right now, India is their best bet. Let me give you a sample of how desperate Russia is. They're offering a discount of $35 per barrel, and that too not on current prices. This $35 discount per barrel is on oil prices before the war. So you can imagine how lucrative this deal is. Speaking in New Delhi, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov made a renewed push for Rupee-Rouble trade today. Listen in.
I mentioned already just about rubles and rupees. This process is ongoing for many years. And the reason for moving to national currencies is, again, absolutely unreliable nature of our Western counterparts. We don't want to depend on a system which could be closed anytime. And we don't want to depend on the system whose masters can steal your money overnight.
Which brings us to the most important question. Why hasn't India taken up the offer? If Rupee-Rouble has been tried before, if the discounts are so attractive, then what's stopping us? Why is India hesitating? Two reasons. Number one, the ruble's free fall. Before the war, both currencies were almost equal. 1 ruble was almost equal to 1 rupee. Now there is no stability. In early March, the ruble collapsed. 1 ruble was equal to half a rupee. It has recovered since, but you see the problem here. Suppose the Rupee-Rouble system is implemented. India deposits millions or billions of rubles in Russian banks. What happens next? What if the ruble collapses further? This money in the Russian bank will lose value. You can see why it's a risky affair. Reason number two is politics. Rupee-Rouble is not just a financial commitment, it's a political statement. It's a declaration that India will buy more Russian goods. So how will America react to that? A few minutes back, we told you that America's Deputy National Security Advisor said what he said. He set red lines for India's imports from Russia. Such statements complicate matters. It's a question of risk versus reward. Is the cheap oil worth risking a Western backlash? So far, India has put oil first. Take a look at these numbers. In 2021, India bought 16 million barrels of oil from Russia. That's 16 million in 12 months. This year, 13 million barrels already. And we have 9 months left in this year. So as we keep saying, this is all about national interest. Why should Indians pay for a war that NATO and Russia created? Rupee-Rouble may or may not go through, but India has made one thing clear. It will not sacrifice lucrative deals for someone else's war. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.